Today I want to tell you that God has a miracle for you. Do not miss your miracle. I want to tell you how you cannot miss it today. In Daniel chapter 3, the Bible says Nebuchadnezzar, the king of the land and the world at this time, known world, because it was a kingdom that ruled the world, made a statue 90 feet tall. And he put the statue, it was gold, of himself on the plains of Dura so everyone could see it. And the Bible says he gathered together the satraps, the prefects, the governors, the counselors, the treasurers, the justices, the magistrates, and all the officials of the province to come and dedicate the image so that the king had set up. And he says all these people, basically everyone you can think of, had to come. And when the horn, the pipe, the lyre, the trigon, the harp, the bagpipe, and every kind of music played, every kind of music that they could had, then they would bow down and worship the image of Nebuchadnezzar. And if you didn't, the fiery furnace was going to be your death. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were not paying attention to this. They get everyone out there, and everyone bows down, and everyone says, hey, look, they're not bowing down. Now, their Jewish friends around them would have wanted them to bow down, because how embarrassing is it when you got three guys standing up for God, and you're not? I mean, you got your reasons. You don't want to die, right? You got kids. You need to raise. Who will raise your kids if you die, right? So you're like, Shadrach, just bow down and like tie your shoe. I mean, if your shoe's untied, you got to tie your shoe, right? What's wrong with that? Just tie your shoe. Everyone thinks you're bowing down to this idol, but we know you're not. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bow down and I'm going to pray to the God of heaven. Why don't you do that? Get down here with us, right? There are a lot of rationale that could have been used to bow, but they didn't do it. And the fact is, you're living in a world where you think everyone's doing it. Everyone's doing X, Y, Z, whatever it is. And so there's a reason why you think, well, I'm doing it, but it's not like what you think. The truth is, you're going to miss your miracle if you bow. If you bow down to the rituals, the ideology, the sins of this world, then you miss the power of God. These three guys were not going to miss it. And it didn't go unnoticed. And so the people say, hey, look, Nebuchadnezzar, these three guys aren't bowing down. So they're brought before Nebuchadnezzar. And the Bible says, they said, we have no need to answer you in this matter. The God we serve is able to deliver us in the burning fiery furnace. And he will deliver us from your hand, O king. But if not, be it known to you, O king, we will not serve your God or worship the golden image you have set up. The first thing they said is the most important thing. We don't have to think about it. That's what it comes down to. Do you have to think about whether you're going to sin or compromise? Because if you have to think about it, you'll always lose. The devil's been at this for 6,000 to 10,000 years, and he has more reasons why you ought to do it than you have reasons why you shouldn't. And when you have to think about it, he has a rationale for you. So don't think about it. Just say, no, I'm going to serve the God of heaven. That's what I do. And that's what these guys did. So Nebuchadnezzar was mad. He says, make this furnace 7 times hotter, right? And he gets the mighty men from his army to bind these guys up and take them to the fiery furnace that's 7 times hotter. And the mighty men in the army die taking them to the furnace. All of a sudden, Nebuchadnezzar says, there's 4 men in the fire. I thought we took 3 men to the fire. Who's this 4th guy? He says, it looks like God himself is in the fire with them. Well, you know something? I believe that Jesus Christ is that 4th man in the fire. And your miracle will involve Jesus walking you through a circumstance so dark that anyone would say, how did you get through that? And you're going to look at them and say, it really wasn't that dark when I was in there. In fact, if you're like many people who walk through that fire, you'll say, there are pieces of that I actually miss. There were times of fellowship and union with Christ that were so deep and so wonderful, I actually miss the fire. If you compromise, you'll never get that miracle. If you stand for Christ, he'll be with you in the fire. In verse 28, Nebuchadnezzar says, "Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who sent his angel and delivered his servants. Therefore I make a decree that everyone's got to worship the God of heaven." When you take that stand, God does something through your life that could only be replicated in taking that stand. For sure, people were saying, look, if you die, you don't get to witness for God anymore. But the truth is, the witness is the stand. It might even be, and they said, look, maybe God doesn't deliver us, but we're standing up for God. I can't tell you what will happen. I can't tell you the outcome when you make your stand for God, when you don't compromise to the things the world has you to do. But I can tell you this, your miracle is on the other side of that decision. Don't even think about it. Just stand.